Mercedes have broken their silence, and leaks have now revealed Mercedes' Plan B upgrade. Mercedes built the W17 so strong at the start of the season that they believed they no longer needed to spend heavily on developing it. Their plan was to shift their investment and focus towards the 2027 car. They thought the championship was comfortably under control. But that confidence may have come back to bite them. What Mercedes didn't expect was the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton mounting a serious comeback. His recent performances and Ferrari's resurgence have started to put real pressure on the Silver Arrows. Hamilton is now just 50 points behind Kimi Antonelli in the championship, and that has reportedly forced Mercedes to change their plans. Mercedes are now preparing to bring fresh upgrades to the W17 in the second half of the season. In other words, Ferrari and Hamilton's comeback has forced Mercedes to continue developing their 2026 car, because suddenly the championship is no longer as comfortable as they once believed. And now, Mercedes can see a very real threat to their title hopes, and it's coming from Lewis Hamilton. Stick around, because in this video we're breaking down exactly what's going on inside Mercedes, why their original plan has collapsed, and when we can expect to see Plan B hit the track. Let's rewind to the start of 2026, because to understand why this is such a big deal, you need to understand just how dominant Mercedes looked when the season began. The W17 came out of the gate as arguably the class of the field. Mercedes were so far ahead of the competition early on that the team made a strategic call most fans wouldn't have expected. They decided to stop pouring resources into developing this year's car once the season hit its halfway point. Instead, the plan was simple: bank the advantage, freeze development on the W17, and quietly redirect the engineering department toward 2027, a season that comes with a brand new set of technical regulations, and one where every team on the grid is desperate to get a head start. It made sense on paper. If you're already miles ahead, why keep spending on a car that's already winning? Better to bank that advantage, stop chasing diminishing returns, and get a jump on the entire grid for the regulation reset. At the time, it looked like a safe move. Mercedes were leading both championships comfortably, and the gap looked like the kind of cushion no rival could realistically close in half a season. Teams rarely get the luxury of looking that far ahead. Most seasons are a scramble to keep pace race to race, so having enough breathing room to plan a full year ahead felt like a genuine statement of dominance. It's the kind of position every team on the grid dreams of being in. But Formula One has a habit of punishing complacency, and that's exactly what appears to be happening right now. So what? And this is the big one: Ferrari have found form at exactly the wrong time for Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton, in his first full season in red, has started to look like the driver we all remember. He's closed the gap to Antonelli down to just 50 points after 11 rounds, and in constructors' terms, Ferrari now sit only 72 points behind Mercedes. Now, on the surface, those numbers might still sound like a comfortable lead, but with more than half the season still to go, gaps like that can evaporate fast, especially if one team is still developing their car aggressively while the other has effectively downed tools. And then there's McLaren. Lando Norris has just picked up his first win of the season, snapping back into form at exactly the moment Mercedes were hoping the rest of the field would fade into the background. It's a timely reminder that McLaren were genuine title contenders not that long ago, and a single strong result can be all it takes to drag a team back into the conversation. Put all of that together, Mercedes underperforming relative to expectations, Ferrari and Hamilton surging, and McLaren waking back up, and suddenly that comfortable lead starts to look a lot more fragile than it did back in the spring. According to reports out of the Italian press, Mercedes have now made the call. Plan B is officially in motion, instead of shelving development on the W17 like they originally intended. Mercedes are reportedly pulling forward a number of upgrades that were originally earmarked for the 2027 project and funneling them into this year's car instead. That's a significant U-turn. It means the engineering resource that was supposed to be building next year's title contender is now being redirected to defend this year's championship instead. And it tells you just how seriously Mercedes are taking the threat from Ferrari and Hamilton right now. So when will we actually see this on track? The first signs are expected to land soon, with minor updates reportedly targeted for the Dutch Grand Prix. That's not the headline moment, though. The real story is a major upgrade package that's currently penciled in for the Singapore Grand Prix in October. But here's the twist: there's also a chance that timeline gets moved up. Reports suggest Mercedes could bring that bigger package forward to the Bahrain Grand Prix, which is actually being held in Malaysia the week before Singapore. If that happens, we could see Mercedes hit back with a major performance step a full race weekend earlier than expected. Either way, the message from Mercedes is clear. The days of coasting through the second half of the season are over. This isn't a team quietly tweaking a wing here or a floor edge there. This is a wholesale reallocation of resources. And that only happens when the boardroom genuinely believes the title picture has shifted. So let's zoom out for a second, because this is bigger than just a technical update. This is Mercedes admitting, even if not in so many words, that the championship is no longer the formality it looked like back in the spring. When a team pulls development resources away from next year's regulation reset and pours it back into the current car, that's not a routine tweak. That's a defensive move. That's a team that senses real danger. And the danger has a name, actually two names. Lewis Hamilton, chasing what would be an extraordinary story with Ferrari, and a red car that suddenly looks like a genuine title threat again. Add in a resurgent McLaren, a Mercedes back half of the season just got a whole lot more complicated. The next few races are going to tell us a lot. Does Mercedes' upgrade actually land the performance gain they're hoping for? Does Hamilton keep chipping away at that 50-point gap? And does Ferrari's momentum in the constructors' fight keep building? Because if Mercedes get this upgrade wrong, or if it arrives too late, this title race could flip completely in the final third of the season. And with three teams now realistically in the mix rather than one team cruising, the run into the end of 2026 has suddenly become must-watch television for every fan of this sport. So there you have it. Mercedes Plan B is officially activated, upgrades are on the way, and the second half of the 2026 season is shaping up to be an absolute title fight. Let me know down in the comments, do you think Mercedes can hold off Hamilton and Ferrari, or is this the start of one of the great comebacks in F1 history? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update the moment Mercedes' upgrade hits the track. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.